Aha, okay, and we're live. My first ever live here, guys. So hopefully I don't screw this up too badly. And as you can see, I've already got the wrong window open over here, but here we go. All right, so we're going to talk about the new Echo devices that came out over the course of the past. I think it was maybe about 4 or 5 days ago that Amazon had their event and they announced the devices. I thought we would just go through each one of the new devices, take a quick peek, see what they look like. And I guess I'm going to have to you got to bear with me, guys, because I'm brand new to live streaming here, and I need to figure out how I can navigate around and so forth. But I figured we'd take a quick look at the new devices, the new Amazon Echo devices, and then kind of just go through a quick side-by-side comparison between the new and the old ones. Hopefully, I'm not lagging too much. I see that. Let me just see. Hold on here. I see we have a couple of friends here. So Kyler and Robot Blocks user, how we doing, guys? What's going on? I thought there was a way I could do a pop-out chat. Let me see if I can figure that out right now as well. So this should go away. Hold on. Bear with me just a second. Here we go. Okay, so now I've got chat popped out. And yeah, so let's actually get into the devices a little bit here. And I need to get my browser window back up, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, so again, first time going live ever, so please bear with me, but let's actually get into the content a little bit here. So Amazon came out with their new the, a new version of the Echo Dot called the Echo Dot Max, and presumably it sounds better than the prior versions. Of course, everything remains to be seen, particularly for some of these devices where they're not being released until the end of the month. So I'm not going to be able to get my hands on them until it looks like around Halloween time-ish. So October 29th. The Echo Show, I believe, is already available now. Let me just see if we can pull that one up. Oh, and there she is. There's ALEXA Plus chatting up in the background here. So it looks like the show 11 was actually available, and now it looks like it's not. Maybe it's the different color. Let's just see. So now it's been delayed until November 12th. Yesterday, I actually had the opportunity to buy it, which is interesting. Now I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't. So that is interesting little detail there. So is it the show 8? No. So also the show 8 is also now delayed until the 12th. So maybe they had some initial preview units and they pulled them back. So that's interesting unto itself. And then here's Echo Studio. Not sure why we are in phone mode there, but let me just get that set up. There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I would say that. So for the blind spot, um, I think that's your blindness is going to be a benefit to you for this live stream, um, and it's because I'm just so green at this. But I absolutely appreciate the support there. So yeah. So all right, Echoes. So let's go back to. Let me get back to the dot here. So all right, Echo Dot Max. And so Amazon saying the newest model, Alexa speaker with room filling sound and built-in smart home hub. So that is the main difference, really the main difference between the old Dot and the new is that now they actually have the smart home hub built into the Dot, which, okay, so I guess that's a thing, but with new standards for smart home hubs like Matter and so forth coming online, probably not as big of a deal as all that, but still, definitely, it's a nice add in terms of what they had before. But I put together this little cheat sheet for myself here to kind of go through the differences between the new Dot Max and then the old 5th gen, which I own. So I have the 5th gen. Dot Max is not going to be available until around Halloween time, so October 29th. So the so the main hardware update is now with, you get two speakers in the Dot. So you have a woofer and a tweeter. So presumably that's going to lead to stronger bass and a fuller sound. The new Dot also has Amazon's new AZ3 chip. So for just general better overall performance, and the design has changed. I like it, actually. I like it better than the Sphere itself. Definitely a little bit more of a Death Star looking feel to it. Let's get the black one up here. But I do like the fact that it's kind of that they've angled the buttons so that they're kind of pointing at you for volume up, volume down, and so forth. Not that anybody really uses those buttons for anything. I tend to use my voice when particularly when I'm controlling volume and so forth. But that is basically pretty much it. And yeah, so okay, so we have bass and loudness. So you're going to get deeper bass because now you have a separate woofer from the tweeter, which I think is a good thing. And then ALEXA Plus is definitely a thing on all of these new devices. So I've been playing around with ALEXA Plus for the better part of a week now, and kind of a mixed bag. I mean, so first of all, I will say the setup was super easy. I have a video on my channel where I go into the setup, basically walk you through step by step in terms of once you get access, it's super easy. And the biggest takeaway there with ALEXA Plus, I think, at least for me, was the fact that I updated it on my Echo Show 15, and all of my other ALEXA devices updated automatically throughout my smart home. So even my older devices, like my old Echo Dot 3rd Gen, for instance, and some of my old Echo Shows as well, all updated to the new ALEXA Plus, which is super cool. And then the AI is actually super smart, way smarter than the old ALEXA for sure. And you can ask it just about anything and she'll give you an answer. Health matters. I actually used her to cook a bone broth soup, and she was essentially my sous chef throughout the whole process. And I don't know if you know about cooking a bone broth soup, but it definitely takes it takes a long time to actually, because you've got to boil the bones and so forth. So I would leave the kitchen and come back to do certain things, and at each point in the process I was able to basically pick up the conversation where I left off. So I thought that was super cool, and then super helpful and insightful. Basically, I was confused about what to do with the giblets, whether or not I should include those in the thing. And she said, include all of the giblets except for the liver. And I said, well, what does the liver look like? She actually showed me a picture of the liver, and I said, well, that kind of looks, the liver looks a lot like all of the other giblets. And I said, can you show me a side-by-side comparison? And she did. She basically showed me what the liver looked like in comparison to the other the other giblets. So I thought that was pretty crazy. And let me just go back to the chat here real quick. I thought you were literally going to dive into the, I guess I did, right? So it looks like, is the Dot Max comparable in size to the 5th generation Dot, or is it closer to, say, a HomePod Mini? So I would say, so let's see if we can get the actual dimensions here. I should have them down here. Maybe Amazon normally does that. I think it's going to be similar in size to, Echo Dot Max 4.27. Yeah, so that's similar in size to the old Echo Dot. So it's going to be smaller. I think slightly bigger than the old Echo Dot from the few demos that I've seen. So that's essentially it in terms of the size. So hopefully that answers your question, Kyler. Yeah, so definitely smaller than a HomePod Mini. I think that the new Echo Studio, let me see, I have that here somewhere. There it is. So this will I think be very similar in size to the HomePod Mini. You can actually see the difference in the dimensions down here. Where was I here? Yeah, so Echo Dot Max. Yeah, so the Echo Studio is significantly bigger, but actually not. No, it's going to be bigger than the Dot for sure, but way smaller than the old Echo Studio, which had a very large form factor. But just to get back to my little table here, so in terms of Echo Dot, the Echo Dot price point is interesting. So I used ChatGPT to create this, so she got it wrong. So it's $100. It's not $179. I don't know where that came from, guys. Sorry about that. And the old Echo Dot 5th Gen was even cheaper. So I think like $50, $60 generally. So pretty crazy on that. So the Dot Max is significantly more expensive. I'm curious as to see. I know we have Prime Day. Amazon's having their fall Prime Day coming up next week. So it'll be interesting to see if these things actually go on sale. And then just to kind of round this out here, so Alexa Plus, obviously, as I had said, and then Matter and Thread are built in. So that's the smart home hub and support. And then colors, it's not Glacier White only. You gotta love AI, right? So we have the colors that I just showed you here. Let's go back. And so we have Glacier White, Amethyst, ooh, a purple one. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking on that, but whatever. And then, so we have the black. So I think I'm probably going to go for this one. I do like that, the sort of that charcoal color. So kind of cool there. And now let me just go over my Word document here. And I do kind of want to go sort of device by device here. So in terms of the Echo Studio, yeah, so let's jump back over there. Let's jump back over to the Echo Studio here. So this is dramatically different design from the last Echo Studio, which I have. Just yank it out here. So this is the old Echo Studio. I have 3 of these. I love them. So this is the charcoal one, obviously, but I also have 2 in Glacier White in the other room. These are my favorite of all time Echoes for sure. The sound is phenomenal. I have an Echo Sub as well in the bedroom that I pair the studio with, and it sounds absolutely great. And I actually, just for purposes of the live stream, just to show you what an ALEXA nerd I am, this was the first ever ECHO, and this is going back 11 years. I thought it was more than that, actually. I made a mistake in my video. I said 15 years I've been dealing with her. But this is the very first ECHO device that I owned, and I was actually blown away from the beginning. What's crazy is I've always said, it's going to get better over time. It's going to get better over time. It really hasn't. Honestly, most of the same commands from 11 years ago kind of have worked the same way all along, basically, for the past 11 years. Spooky Scream, the weather, news, and so forth. It's gotten incrementally better over the years, but nothing like this ALEXA Plus update, which I think is going to be absolutely huge over time. All right, so let's go. I started talking about Echo Studio here, so let's go and do that. Right, okay, so the 2025 version, again, all of these devices are going to have ALEXA Plus, which is, kind of, I think that's probably the biggest benefit of them, but there's some hardware things as well. So they claim that, I can't imagine that the new one's going to sound better than the old one, just because I'm such a fan of the old one. And actually, they updated this, and this is wrong as well. Thank you, ChatGPT. So they updated this in 2021, and it just sounds phenomenal. Echo Studio is the best sounding of the Echo speakers for sure. And then so the new one has 3 full range drivers, woofer fine, and the old one had a 5 driver array, significantly bigger, as I just showed you. So it'll be interesting to see what the new one looks like. I'm definitely going to buy one, test it. We'll do some reviews on the channel as well. I'm going to buy all these, actually. So the one I'm most excited about, I think, is this one, though, is the Studio, just because I absolutely love my others, and it just sounds amazing as part of my multi-room music configuration here. I have 10 different devices hooked up that they all play simultaneously when I play my music here in different rooms, and it just sounds absolutely phenomenal. But the studios are the star of the show for sure. So, all right. So for processor, We have our AZ3 Pro chip. So that is Amazon's newer chip, and that's going to be better performance basically overall. So she'll hear you better, presumably respond faster and so forth. What I'm noticing on my older Echoes, and I'm interested to see if the same thing happens with the new ones, is there's a lag from the time I utter the command to the time she replies by about, I'd say, a good full 3 seconds. But on the positive side, the answers are just so much better than what you got with the old one. It's kind of like it's worth the wait. So the new ALEXA Plus is just so much smarter, and I'm really interested in trying out some of the new services. So apparently you can use her to order an Uber. You can order through Uber Eats, I think Grubhub, and no DoorDash. I didn't see DoorDash. I think Grubhub's coming soon. Uber Eats, I think, is live now, and I haven't tested it yet, but I'm going to film a video next week and we'll test out some of those add-ons for sure. But pretty crazy that you can basically say, you know, I want to order a burrito from Chipotle and she'll pull it up for you. I did do a little test in terms of the Uber itself, and she will actually, I didn't book the car, but she pulled it up. I basically said, can you find me prices for Ubers to a local establishment near me here? And she did. She pulled it up and it showed, you know, the black, the economy version, the super luxury version, all that, and gave the live prices. I'm sure if I hit the book now button, it would have worked. So I'm looking forward to testing all that out for sure. And then, okay, so Smart Home Hub, again, so we have Matter, Thread, Zigbee built in. The old studio did had Zigbee, right? So no Thread and limited Matter. So ChatGPT did get that one right. Microphones. So yeah, it'll be interesting again to see if the newer devices are going to have the same lag that the older devices had. And of course, this is early days, and they're saying now, even the access that I have is called early access. So it is early days, and that I do expect that to improve on the short term, not 11 years from now, but I think the feedback that Amazon will get is that too much of a lag in response time. So we'll see. And then, yeah, the design is just dramatically different. If you look at from our, you know, the little mini Death Star here to the large, this thing is heavy. It'll be interesting how heavy the new one is, but this is like 5 pounds. You could actually work out with these things. So pretty crazy on that. And then, okay, so unless you guys have questions on the Echo Studio, probably enough on that. Oh yeah, I should talk about, so this presence detection thing is interesting, and I'm not really sure if I like it or not, but basically, I noticed I think it was my Echo Show 10 in the kitchen, that when I walked near it, she said, oh, you know, by the way, you have a notification, blah, blah, blah. Do you want me to read it? Or maybe like I sense that you're nearby. By the way, you have a notification. I was like, ooh, I didn't who authorized that? But it is what it is, I guess, right? Okay, so there is that. And yeah, let me know in the chat if you guys have more questions. I actually really appreciate you guys hanging out here. Super cool that I wasn't really sure if anyone would show up at all. So Roblox user and Blindspot YT, Kyler, I appreciate you guys hanging in here. Yeah. All right, so let's get into the show 10 versus the 11. This one I have more questions than answers on, but oh yeah, I can't click on that. I gotta click over here. So we have now so there's a show 8 and a show 10. Let's pull up the show 11. So let's pull up show 11 first here. I'm going to get myself out of the way over here, and we'll take a look at the product page first. All right, so, and it does look bigger than my 10 on the counter, and it should. It's an inch bigger, right? But why is that not going away? Oh no, I need to click over here. I see. See, I'm getting the hang of this. But how different is this really from the show 10? So my understanding is that my show 10 will follow me around the kitchen. I don't think this one has that. I haven't seen anywhere on the product page. If anybody knows, drop a comment in the chat in terms of whether or not this will actually follow you around, which I think people thought that was more creepy than helpful. And for me, I do use it for, I did use it for my recipes. It's interesting, like if you're walking over to the refrigerator from the stove, the thing would actually face me, but yeah, it moves so little that it's actually probably not really a thing. So I thought that was interesting. I don't think that this will move, that this will auto move like the others did. But I'm going to go back over to here. All right, let me get myself out of the way. Oh, I can't. Oh no, here we go. All right, I'm moving myself over here. Hopefully that reflects on the live stream. Don't really know, but okay. Yeah, so all right, so we have an 11-inch full HD touchscreen with slimmer bezels. So okay, so presumably the design here is going to be a little bit slimmer, and so that's cool. So we have a woofer and two speakers compared to the woofer and one speaker. So they claim there's going to be richer sound. My Echo Show 10 sounds great. Definitely not as good as the studios for sure. But that is a great, the 10 was a great sounding speaker. I also love the way that the 8 sound. I have one of my 8s paired with a subwoofer, and that sounds absolutely amazing as well. And then so smart home dashboard. So with the 10, we had basic control, and now we have the new Alexa Plus and unified controls. And then so this is we also get the AZ3 chip in the Show 10, which Amazon claims is much faster. We'll see how that carries over into the Show 11, but yeah. And then we have our conversational AI, and you can hold a conversation. If you haven't had a chance to check out my video that I did on ALEXA Plus setup, watch towards the end where we basically trade some dad jokes, and we do some pirate jokes, and her pirate jokes were absolutely terrible. So I said to her, I think I have a better pirate joke. Do you want to hear it? And she's like, oh yeah, bring it on, Tim. Tell me your best pirate joke. And then I actually felt like she really appreciated it. She's like, yeah, that was actually a pretty good pirate joke. But so I thought that was funny. And then so movement tracking, right. So all right, so there it is. So it looks like ChatGPT did get this right as well. So the motorized rotating base in the 10 is not available, and you can get manual tilt stand. I don't think that's a thing. I think that this will actually tilt on its own. So that's a little strange that we talked about that. Maybe there is a stand for it. I'm not really sure. I have my Echo Show 8s on stands, but I do recall seeing a demo where you can actually tilt that screen up and down and side to side as well. So no issues there. And then so again, we have a smart home hub upgrade with Zigbee, Matter, and Thread. And then so the base on the 10 is bulky. So it'll be interesting to see how much slimmer that base is. It looks very similar, actually. It looks very similar. Let me just go see if we can pull up another. Yeah, so it will tilt and pan and all that. So this thing is going to rotate on its own without a stand. So, all right. So enough on unless you guys have questions, enough on the new Show 11. And I think with that said, we will go over and take a look at the Show 8 for sake of completeness here. And I do think I have, did I do a chart for that as well? I did. Okay. So let me get myself out of the way again. Yeah, this streaming software is interesting. It takes some getting used to, but it is fairly intuitive. Okay. So I'm going to stick myself over here. And so the Show 8, so the star of the show, I realize that was bad, so to speak here, is going to be so they're saying it's a full HD touchscreen with sharper visual. So presumably the last one wasn't full HD, just HD, whatever that means, I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see the difference in quality with this. Echo Show 8, I would say, is probably my favorite not my favorite sounding one, but my favorite of all of the ECHO devices, mainly because it sounds good, sounds great actually. So the sound is really good from it. Not as good as studio, but it's good. And then it's just a great size. So I have mine on my I don't know if I can show you guys. Let me just pick up the risk of destroying the whole live here. Let me see if I can pick up my webcam. Oh, so I actually pulled one up here, and I do have that on the stand, but then my other one is over on my other bedside table there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but that's where that is. I have an Echo Show 8 on both of my bedside tables. I love the thing. And it's just the screen is good, the quality is good, the microphones are solid, particularly on the second generation over the third generation. It'll be interesting to see what this new one does. But yeah, I would say overall my favorite of the Echo devices. I will, if you guys are interested in picking any of these up, by the way, I'm going to leave a link down in the description. I think you can do descriptions on live streams. Again, this is brand new to this, but I'll leave links to all of these things down below there if you're interested in checking them out. I will also leave a link to ALEXA Plus Early Access if you want to sign up for that. I suspect that I'm one of the very early, one of the one of the earliest of the early access to have gotten it, probably just because I have so many of them and I've been ALEXA influencer for so long. So there is that. So okay, and now so the camera is 13 megapixels with better auto framing algorithm. So if you use the 10 and the motorized feature that follows you around for video chat, then the auto framing is going to be important, because it's not going to follow, this new one's not going to follow you around. So you're going to want to be able to stay in the frame as you move around and have your conversations and so forth. So that's important, I think. And then basic Alexa control interface. Again, it's just basically going from ALEXA to ALEXA Plus. I do really like the UI. Amazon, it's funny because I was expecting ALEXA Plus to be a non-starter, to be honest, just because of the way things have gone with ALEXA and the slow rollout over the years and so forth. But honestly, I am very pleasantly surprised with the way that it works. And in fact, I'm even getting better answers from her on some things than ChatGPT, which is pretty crazy. I guess that chicken bone broth soup, man, that just, it went so well, and she gave me helpful suggestions along the way, and it was a lot of fun, basically having a companion in the kitchen. So I live alone, and my girlfriend's not around. It's like it's nice having these AIs to kind of bounce ideas off of and just get general advice and feedback. So kind of cool on that. And then, all right, and then so again, we have the AZ3 Pro chip, which is going to make the 8 a little bit faster. And then the movement and tracking. So both of them are going to be static display, similar to before. What I find interesting here is that it looks like the way they position the speaker on the bottom here with, let me just pull that up here. So the way they position the speaker here is negate the need to have a stand. So on both of my older Echo Show 8s, I'll show you again. So here is my Show 8. I actually put it up on my desk just to kind of show you guys. So that's the stand that I have. With that speaker on the bottom, and my understanding is it will rotate, tilt and pivot and all that. You're not going to need to buy the third-party stand, which is probably a bummer for stand makers, but a win for us. So I think that's kind of cool. My dilemma, let me just close this up before I tell you my dilemma. So the static display is a thing, and then Zigbee and Matter and Thread. So again, we have that updated smart home hub. So for this one, not a huge difference between this and the prior generation. The big win is going to be ALEXA Plus, and then the little bit of a different design where you're not going to want to have a stand. So my dilemma now is I love my Echo Show 8s, as I said, so and I can't have 3 of them. I cannot have 3 Echo Show 8s. That's just obnoxious. So I need to return one of them, and Amazon has, I don't know if you guys aren't familiar with the buyback program. That's a great way to actually get some money for your older devices. And I think what I'll do is I'll actually submit either both my Show 8s, which would be a lot, hard for me to give up, particularly the second gen one, which is my favorite of all, and I've hooked up to the sub. Actually, I'm deciding right now, I'm going to get rid of the third gen 8 and replace it with the newer the newest model one here, and call it a day. So yeah, so that is it for the new product lineup. I will actually let me pull up my YouTube channel just to show you guys my video on the Alexa setup here.
Hey guys, Tech Kenny here.
So this is me looking like a goof, but
ALEXA Plus.
so this is my setup video. I hope you guys will actually check this one out. And then the thing with the pirate jokes at the end is pretty crazy. I won't replay that here. I'll let you watch the video. But again, super encouraged with ALEXA Plus. I think it is going to be. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a thing. I really do. I think it's going to be huge. But we'll see, and more to come on that for sure. I plan to do a full-blown ALEXA Plus, not a review, but what she can do. So the difference between the new one and the old one. I'm hoping to release that video next week as sort of a follow-up to the live here. So stay tuned for that, and then also stay tuned for lots more content about ALEXA Plus. But if you don't have any more questions, I think I'm going to end the live here. So we've been going for a little bit over half an hour, and I was told by ChatGPT and some of the other gurus out there to keep my first one to a half hour. But I hope you guys found this helpful. And again, if you have any more questions, if you ever have questions, Kyler, Roblox user, all you guys, drop a comment on any one of my videos. I'm a total nut job when it comes to my YouTube channel and replying to videos. I usually reply definitely within 24 hours. Worst case, it's ever gone a couple days, but almost like sometimes even within minutes, I'll reply. So anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed the live. I feel like I can do a little sigh of relief here. I broke the seal and got this done. So yeah, hope you guys found this helpful, and let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what other types of videos you want to see, and or topics for a future live. I'm happy to do it, and I'm going to make this a regular thing, I think, and maybe try and go live at least once a month, if not twice a month or more. So anyhow, hope to see you next time, and ciao for now. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe for a fun take on tech, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Now I have to figure out how to stop it.